Hi everyone, my name is JC of The Mindful Awakening and welcome to another lunation video where we will discuss all the things that you need to know in order to prepare for the full moon in Capricorn happening in just one day. So go ahead and get yourself something to drink and settle in. If these messages from today's video resonate with you, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and also hit that notification bell so you'll be told of when I drop another video. And while you're at it, share it with a friend because I feel like all of us are going through such similar energy. And I just think it might be useful, to kind of have some guidance during this transition, because as loving and nurturing as this particular transit is, it's also very uncomfortable because we're being called to channel things that we normally don't do or we've avoided doing for quite some time. And I am going to get into that in this video. But for now, I hope you have your drink. Today I am drinking not wine, surprise, surprise, I'm actually drinking some tea. I'm drinking a peach mango herbal tea from Lipton's. It's nothing crazy or special, but I'm in a mood. I'm in a mood, guys. I'm like all up in my feelings and I'm drinking it from my favorite mug, which is my New York mug that I got at Dunkin' Donuts the first time I ever went to New York City years and years and years ago, and it's so nostalgic. It just brings back such great memories that I share with a particular person, and it's like the one thing I took from my parents' house with me to the condo where I'm living in now. I've been living here for about a year and a half now, and it was like the first thing I made sure to pack away and to bring with me. And let's talk about the feels, because man, we are in Cancer season, and this is definitely the time where you want to get comfortable, you want to nurture yourself, you want to feel all the feelings. So by now, I hope you guys do have something to drink, and if you do, please cheers with me as we welcome in Cancer season. Happy birthday to all the Cancer signs out there celebrating in June and in July, and to this new lunation period. So cheers. All right. This has been such an emotional transit. So many things have shifted over the last month and a half. And this full moon in Capricorn, which is happening at 3 degrees in Capricorn on June 24th, with the sun also at 3 degrees in Cancer, is happening 2 days after Mercury has stationed direct. So Mercury has been in retrograde for about a month now, and including shadow period. And so our thoughts, our words, communication, text messages, all of these sorts of things have kind of been out of whack for the last little while. And I don't need to get too into that because I feel like my previous lunation videos really talked about the significance of Mercury retrograde at that time. But now Mercury is stationed direct, meaning for the last day or so, I'm filming this on June 23rd. So yesterday it stationed direct, meaning it finally stopped going backwards. And there's usually a period of like pausing for Mercury to kind of get it together before it can continue moving in a direct motion again. And that's where we're at right now. So while things are becoming more and more clear to us, we're still in a funny stage where we're maybe questioning things a little bit, where we're still settling into how we're feeling post-eclipse, post-eclipse season, really, post-Gemini season, and post-Mercury retrograde season. And our focus is really going to be on who we are and how it is that we have changed and transformed over this period of time. And this really is going to be about channeling our inner parent and discovering for ourselves what it means to feel loved, to feel nurtured, to have a sense of security, which is very Cancerian. We're gonna start to question what it looks like when we are thriving, when we are flourishing, when we are working from our absolute best place. And while this is very Cancerian energy, the Capricorn influence then shows up through our consistency, through our integrity, and through our overall relationship that we have to our vision of our lives. The Capricornian energy comes in to remind us that our dreams, our wishes, our aspirations can't just come from anywhere. The Capricornian energy reminds us how important it is to stay consistent and to stay in integrity even on days that we don't feel like showing up. And for a lot of us, this is going to come in areas where we have often given ourselves maybe a little bit too much grace. And for some of us, we've used this idea of grace as a way to avoid doing work that we know is going to be challenging, that's going to be triggering, work that's going to be hard. So now, this really is all about how we can learn to show up for ourselves. In ways where we can reclaim our happiness, where we can reclaim responsibility for our success, for our failures, where it is that we can claim responsibility of what we manifest in our lives. So while the Capricorn energy influences our consistency, the Cancerian energy then jumps in to remind us of our equal need for nourishment, of our equal need for self-care, self-compassion, in addition to the necessity of protecting our inner creative child. Now, if you've been following my Lunation videos, I do talk a lot about childhood trauma and how much our inner child influences how we see our lives in the present moment. And this is where we're going to need to find a balance between allowing the freedom for this inner creative to thrive and flourish while being in some ways a parent to ourselves, so that we can stick to a schedule in order to help us create an environment that is conducive to manifestation. The sun and the moon are also going to be sextiling Jupiter in Pisces. So this is fantastic energy when it comes to helping us to envision our most perfect life. Like when you sit back, let me just grab some tea. When you sit back and you have your drink in your hand and you really start to daydream and imagine what your life can look like, what are the sorts of things that come to mind? What kind of partner do you imagine for yourself? What kind of job? What do your finances look like? beyond the material, how do you feel? What are the sorts of things that you can imagine doing in your free time? If your life was a reality show and you were the main character, what sorts of plot lines could you imagine for yourself? And this is where that fun, creative inner child energy comes through. Both in Cancerian and Piscean energy is this daydreamer. And with this type of mentality, there's nothing that's beyond our limits. Anything really truly is possible. And so during this full moon, you're being called now to access that part of yourself where we can dream all about these incredible things, from people in our lives to places we can travel and see, to projects that we can start, to jobs that we can have, to the next amazing ideas that we think are only great as ideas, but how do we bring that all into this 3D space? I'm just gonna sit for a sec. And as fun and as dreamy as this energy can be, it can also be equally as scary, because we also need to remind ourselves with this Capricornian energy that dreams are great when they're just dreams, but how do we then bring it into reality? So now our inner parent has two choices. Either we tame and control and in some ways limit our creative selves by sticking to our daily routine and never deviating from it, and only doing the things where we already know the answers. Or we can access the other parent, the parent who nurtures these dreams, the parent who can see how these things can be a possibility, the parent who is willing to take risks and do what's uncomfortable and try. And so during this full moon, you are going to be called to not only nourish and nurture and allow your inner creative child to thrive and flourish, but you're also going to recognize now that the only way to allow these dreams to become a reality is for you to hit the ground running, is to stay consistent, is to channel the balanced parent that can see the value in dreaming, that can see the value in possibility, but is also realistic enough to know it's not just gonna fall from the sky. That's realistic enough to know that you will need a plan, you will need to work hard, you will need to show up on days where you don't want to. Plans will have to be adjusted and then tested out and then readjusted again. And when things don't work out the way that you envisioned them to originally, it doesn't mean throw in the towel. It just means reassess, reevaluate, and try a different way. And that's what this full moon is going to help us to remember. This full moon will help us remember how important it is to dream, how important it is to understand, know, and believe that our life is limitless, that we are limitless beings, that we can manifest anything, truly anything that we want, that we desire, that we believe is in alignment for us. But we also have to be willing to do the work that it takes. And that might mean having to face some trauma and heal those wounds. It might mean having to mend relationships that have been on the outs for some time. It might mean having to do something that's extremely uncomfortable and scary. It might mean taking risks. But at the end of the day, isn't that what life is all about? So you have a choice. Will you let your inner creative child thrive and flourish? Are you going to be the nurturing parent who recognizes this value? Or are you going to be the polar opposite extreme and be the authoritative parent that sticks to the daily routine? It's okay for you to shake things up every once in a while. It's okay for you to test yourself and push yourself to the limit. It's okay to try something new. All right, so we are going to take a look at my crystal pick for this full moon. I have picked citrine, which looks like this. I'm gonna go ahead and cut to a clip where you guys can get a closer view. Wow, look at these rainbows. Oh my goodness. Wow. So citrine helps to clear our chakras, helping us to develop a stronger connection to our intuition. Citrine attracts wealth, prosperity, success, joy, wonder, enthusiasm. It also helps us to build our self-esteem and our self-confidence. It helps to stimulate our brain, strengthening our intellect, and helps us to stay motivated while we continue to access our creativity and self-expression. So I definitely think citrine is the perfect crystal to usher in this full moon in Capricorn. Look at these rainbows. I cannot get over these rainbows. Wow. All right, so now that you know which crystal we have chosen, I'm gonna go ahead and pull some cards from the Light Series Tarot deck as we typically do. Sorry for the shaky camera. We're gonna pull some guidance cards and then clarify using the Chakra Oracle Wisdom deck. Pull a final card from the Lemurian Oracle deck, and then lastly, a message from the universe. So let's see, what does the general collective need to know for this full moon in Capricorn? All right. Too many. What does the general collective need to know for the full moon in Capricorn? What do we need to know? All right, so we have 5 of Pentacles in reverse. It's time for you to step back out into the open. I think some of us have been in hibernation period. I totally understand this. Toronto has been in lockdown forever and a day. So for a lot of us, we're starting to release this idea that we have been left out in the cold. Some of us may have been feeling FOMO, like fear of missing out, if we've been watching other people on social media or watching other people continue to do things, live their best life. I think some of us may have been feeling like, whoa, look at my friend over here, or my family member, or this person that I know. Why is it that they're able to finally have this or that in their life? I think some of us are releasing this idea that we are unworthy and that we will never get to experience that level of happiness. There's a need here to have to release your attachment to a particular idea or something having to turn out a specific way. I think, again, because of FOMO that we are now finally releasing, we are now getting a sense of how something that we maybe thought would look a certain way has transformed into something bigger. It could be that maybe for some people who are thinking about business stuff, Maybe you thought your business was going to be one thing, and through the last month and a bit, you're starting to notice now that maybe I could do something more than what I thought. Maybe I just need to pivot my business in a different way. For those of you in relationship, if you've been feeling really stuck and stagnant in a relationship, maybe it's that you have to adjust what your expectations are in this partnership, whether friendship, family, or love, and realize that there's something that you're missing. It's like tunnel vision. When you're just looking a particular way, you kind of miss the stuff that's happening on the side. Now with this full moon, you're being called to expand your vision so that you don't miss out on an offer that's being gifted to you by the universe. This is all about being open to new possibilities, to the transformation, to the change. Like I started off in this video saying that you are not the same person you were about a month and a half ago. Heck, you're not even the same person you were yesterday. Things have kind of shifted and it's been out of your control. This is for your divine purpose, for your divine good, and to allow your blinders to expand, to allow for more things to come into view so that you don't miss out on that opportunity that is being offered to you, whether in business, in finance, in love, in friendship, or family. With the Two of Wands upright, you're really looking forward. You're waiting to take that step forward into a new future, into new possibilities, into a new outcome. We also have here the Ten of Cups upright. You're stepping into a place of more acceptance, abundance, love. Maybe you're welcoming in a new soul tribe, new soul connections. You're aligning yourself or even realigning yourself with people who are like-minded. For those of you who are hoping to take your relationship to the next level, you're opening yourself up to unconditional love, to connection. These are the things that have been missing, which I think is fantastic. So we start off feeling left out in the cold, and you finally releasing this fear of missing out into connection, into community, into something that is better suited towards what you imagine and envision for your life. We're back to the whole daydreaming thing again. And the only way that you can daydream your life into reality is if you take off the blinders, widen your perspective, and realize that whatever is being released for a reason. The things that are transforming because you have also transformed too. So let's just pull another clarification card. Anything we need to know about this Ten of Cups energy? Where are we heading in the future? Where are we heading in the future? Wow. So this is very interesting. So a lot of you have been working really hard with the workaholic card. There hasn't been a balance between your work life and your personal life. You may have been getting complaints from your loved ones, from your friends that like no one ever sees you anymore. You're always working. For you, I think you're mentally drained, you're exhausted, you're tired, you can't keep up anymore because all of your time and attention has been going towards your job. I think there's a need to have to show up perfectly. Maybe you're concerned about your reputation. You're concerned about what other people are thinking of you. You're concerned that the future will be impacted by how you decide to show up now. And now all of these things may be true, but when there's an imbalance such as this with the workaholic card, again, it's like blinders. You're closing yourself off to everything else that's equally important to you in your life. This is where the Capricornian energy takes over and you don't have a balance, right? This is the authoritative parent. So if we're going back to the energy of the full moon, are you going to access this need to be perfect and be that authoritative parent that robs you of your happiness, that robs you of exploration, that robs you of trying new things? Or are you going to step into something that's a little bit more balanced so that you can still nurture your inner creative child, which is the whole point of this full moon. Here you have confusion. You're not quite sure what has to give. How are you supposed to take a step away from work? If work's really important for you right now, there's deadlines, there's projects, there's people that you have to impress. I totally understand that. Same thing goes with friendships, with love relationships. There's just a lot of confusion and not knowing exactly what to do. And to that I say, this is where you need to go inward and start asking yourself, what does my heart truly desire? What type of recognition am I looking for at work that's making me become a workaholic? When I envision my future, do I see myself this drained in my relationships? And if your answer is no, then this is where you need to start following your instincts. Follow your heart. What is your intuition telling you that you need? And right now, it's very interesting because the last card I pulled is soulmate. And with the 10 of Cups being the last card in the tarot, when you follow your heart, you end up connecting with like-minded people who will be there to support you in all of your creative ventures that will help you thrive and flourish. It's when you access too much of the Capricornian energy and not enough of your Cancerian energy that you're gonna have a whole bunch of mix-up. So this is where you need to find the balance now. Are you gonna let your inner creative child flourish and thrive? Or are you going to be the authoritative workaholic parent? You gotta give yourself time to play. All right, let's pull one more card from the Lemurian deck. What do we need to know to wrap up this reading? Fire, Solaris Sublime. We live in a dualistic world, bringing light and dark into balance. And being real with our humanness can allow us to reach more joy, authenticity, and depth. By accepting and loving all of ourselves as we are, we can extend more of this love and have greater compassion for others. This painting portrays the balanced dance of creation. As the dragons come together, they dissolve into one with all that is. In this place of coalescence, both sides fuse in oneness, not just as a re-emerging with the universe, but in an alchemical process of becoming the empowered creator force we truly are. Are you hearing this? The message is all about the balance, right? You need to be consistent. You need to have goals. You need to have determination. You need to show up on days where you don't feel your best. And what is the point of having all of these standards and limitations and goals if you're lacking in love, happiness, creativity? You can't always control how your flower blooms. All you can do is water it and allow it to bloom and flourish and thrive in its most natural way that it will. But you need to be consistent in watering, because when you're not, the flower will die, and the flower is you. You have an opportunity now to access such a beautiful space. Are you gonna water yourself? All right, one more card from the universe. One more guidance card from the universe. What do we need to know during this full moon in Capricorn on June 24th? Show us what we need to see for the collective. What do we need to see to access this infinite love and power for the full moon in Capricorn? All right, we have a couple here. We have, I surrender to a power greater than me. Beautiful. My happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. And lastly, there is a stream of love supporting my dreams. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me on this journey and for another lunation video. It is always such a great time getting to sit down and just talk about the astrology and the energy that we'll be facing during this time together. If you did resonate with this reading, please make sure that you hit that like button, you subscribe to my channel, and you hit that notification bell, and drop me a line down in the comments below if you would like me to continue making these videos. It's something that I have been experimenting with for the past few months. I think since February, I've been making these lunation videos, and I'm kind of at a crossroads. I'm not sure if I should continue. So if you do enjoy these videos, kindly let me know if you would like me to continue on. The next one will be a new moon. It's always a new moon followed by a full moon. So let me know in the comments below, and I will keep you all in my intentions tomorrow for my full moon in Capricorn meditation. Take care, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.